The Nigerian Port Authority, so much has been going on in terms of reforms, making sure that our ports are more efficient and more effective in terms of infrastructure, ensuring that goods are cleared in the shortest possible time and that complaints are not as what they used to be in the past. Well, here to talk about that and some other issues is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Port Authority, Mr. Umar Suleiman. Thank you so much, Umar, for being here.
Thank you.
Now, there's so much that we can talk about. I know there's so much of the reforms that have been going on, but just homing on some very key points.
Yes.
Now, when the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, when she paid, I know she's paid several visits to the ports to see how the reforms, are playing out. Well, she mentioned the fact that there were too many agencies operating at the ports, making the clearing of goods extremely challenging, extremely difficult. At the end of the day, they were pruned down to about 7 or 8, I understand.
7.
But there are concerns that, that's just a matter of time before the others that were kicked out, sneak back in and, we find ourselves back at square one. What are your thoughts on that?
Thank you very much. The issue of multiple agencies at the port, the issue was raised by Nigerian Port Authority in a presentation I made to the Economic Council, and that wasn't the only issue that we raised, but we considered that so quick one. Immediately, the President set up the port reform task force to monitor. And one of the things that was taken up immediately was the issue of multiple agencies in the port. We had a meeting, look at the agencies from traditional point of view. We know customs are in charge of cargo administration in all ports in the world. But because of the peculiarity of Nigeria, there are certain agencies also that, apart from custom, that maybe need to be there, like NDLE. So we made the presentation and it was agreed that, yes, all the other agencies will go out of the port, remaining all LDT and the 6 statutory others, including immigration, because all over, and port health. So they rummage the vessel first to see that there's any contaminated issue or persons that can come into the country. So a statement was issued and it was complied with. For now, we have all those agencies supposed to be in the port. But we are not saying that the other agencies will not do their work. Institutions like SON, they have...
The Standards Organization of Nigeria, okay.
They also some used to do. But what is being done is that, including NAFDAC, if a food cargo or chemical comes into the country, the custom, because we have the bill of lading 21 days before the cargo arrives, and we know the content of the container, is then that the custom will invite NAFDAC or SON or both of them, that this container is going to position for examination at this time on these days. We need you there. Now they will come in, do the examination together with custom, and after that, they will leave. What used to happen before is even a container that has nothing to do with NAFDAC, maybe let's say tiles, comes in. You find that NAFDAC, NDLE will all be signatory to the release paper before it leaves. And that's what Nigerian Port Authority is slowing the process of clearing. Let only the agency who has something to do with the container or with the cargo should inspect the cargo. And that's what we've achieved now in terms of that.
Okay, so
working fine.
We have just, 7 or 8 of them, the agencies right now.
Right now, who are statute to remain in the port, and the other ones will come on invitation.
Okay, so you're saying you can state for a fact now that the others who are not meant to be there, although who, like you said, can be called on occasionally to come in to inspect, they are right now nowhere.
No, they are outside the port in their offices. In their
offices.
Yes.
And so the fear or the concerns by the general public that it's just only a matter of time that for them to sneak back in. Are there any measures being put in place to ensure that that doesn't happen?
Yes, because what really happens is because of fear, what Mr. President did was that he now invited the IG of police, and we have police command all of the ports. It's not only NPA and custom that are supervising now. Each of the police commands, which we have a police that headed by a commissioner of police, also at the gate to see that that one is enforced.
Okay. Now, while the minister also came, she also gave the federal government directive that the ports should operate 24-hour service.
Yes.
And I also found out that this has been the case for several years now. that it's not actually the MPA, because as I'm told, you're just the landlord. You have a bunch of tenants that you oversee or supervise, and when anything happens, when blame comes, it comes to the MPA, because you're the landlord. Nobody wants to know if it's the customs or any other agency. It's the MPA that has done wrong.
Yes.
So you have been operating 24-hour service for several years.
Yes.
So what has changed?
It's the cargo administration that has not been operating 24 hours. Nigerian Port Authority, because of statutory duty, we bring in vessels and sell of vessels 24 hours, and that's our main core responsibility. Once a vessel arrives at the Fireway, I'm here at all times, 24 hours. We have pilots that will go and bring the vessel. And discharge also takes place 24 hours, because the terminal operator wouldn't like to keep the vessel long because of demurrage. All these vessels attract a lot of money in demurrage. What has not been happening is the cargo administration, that is inspection and release of cargo, which is done not only by customers, I explained, also with the other agencies, security agencies that are there. That has not been happening. So recently, one of the quick wins that we will have to operate 24 hours. That means cargo administration 24 hours. A clearing agent should be able to come to the port at 12 midnight with his papers and get his container positioned, examined, and released. And that is what we are trying to achieve. But people have not bought into that yet. You know how changes are. Maybe security concerns.
People have not bought into better efficiency? Is that what you're saying? People haven't bought into
into the 24 hours, yes. Because we are still having very, very limited number of agents coming to the port in the night in terms of clearing their cargo. We have the customs there. The gate is there open. But the consignees are not coming through the agent to clear the cargo as we're expecting. But what Nigerian Port Authority and Customs are doing at the moment is sensitization. We are now sensitizing people, holding seminars, calling all the agents and the importers that you can do this. Most of the bulk cargos, yes, they do. They also do that. They come. But still it's very trickling traffic in terms of that. But it will improve with time.
How long should we be expecting that to, for a significant improvement or impact of that?
Maybe up to the end of this year.
End of this year, so
yes.
That's okay. A couple of months, I'll take you up on
yes,
that.
Yes.
Now, of course, the most pressing issue for the average Nigerian would be, they have goods coming into the country. How long it takes, to clear that goods? If I'm bringing in a car, for instance,
yes,
it's these days it's just a nightmare to bring in a car. When I bring in a car, if somebody brings in a car, how long should it take, ideally, with all the reforms that have been going on, should that car be cleared? Ideally,
if it's a car, it should be cleared in 2 days. Because as I'm saying, once you receive the manifest 21 days before and you have a bill of lading, you can start the process of clearing. So that immediately the cargo lands and custom allows that. It remains only inspection and you pick it. With the car, 2 days, you can clear a car.
Okay. Now let's go on to let's just talk about infrastructure. Now recently, do you know that the Lagos State government had a task force. They went there to the Apapa Oshodi Expressway, and it was a very dramatic scenario where they cleared, all under the bridge, cleared all the miscreants or the street urchins that were there, and all of that. And I also found that the MPA actually had a major role to play in that, but that wasn't exactly played up. What we saw, perception was that was the Lagos State government that did that because the MPA perhaps failed, in its responsibility, as it were. So give us your thoughts. What role did the MPA play in that?
The part of the quick wins of the presidential meeting was the setting of the presidential committee on port reforms to see that the port activities are faster than before. One of the things we realized for us to succeed is a chain. Logistics chain is as weak as any point that is weak. In the port, things have started moving fine. Container opposition, we are doing 24 hours clearance. But immediately come out of the gate, there's a problem. So the presidential task force picked on that and was able to meet the governor, His Excellency, Fashola, and with their cooperation, because this Lagos State, there's not much federal government can do on Nigerian Port Authority in the state without the landlord, the owner of the state. So there was a very beautiful synergy between federal government and Lagos State government on that. They put it together and were able to clear the road, and it's now free. But the only thing we're working on now to sustain, to see that tempo stands, because as you know, Nigerians, everybody feel that, okay, it's just a matter of time.
That's actually the major concern, that it's only a matter of time before we still have the tankers, still, being a major challenge in terms of where they will park, tank farms, as it's called for them.
We are designing a system that this particular one will be sustained, and that's the meeting we're even having tomorrow with some of the Lagos State Commissioners and ourselves and the federal government, to see at any cost to see that this particular tempo is sustained, because movement of cargo out of the port around Apapa, especially Creek Road, so many companies like banks has closed there. I know a bank that was there but had to close because nobody will come because of the traffic. So it's affecting the economy in one way or the other. People going to their houses after work is a nightmare. So we are going to keep the cargo moving out. Takes a lot of time. Container demurrage is increased. So we have no option other than to see that we sustain this particular tempo.
In terms of infrastructure within the ports, I understand that there's actually a rail system owned by the NPA, that the NPA has the NPA fixed that rail. And what about the contribution of the Nigerian Railway Corporation in terms of I call it harmonizing or fusion, where you can link yours with theirs, and then these tankers or the trailers or the cargo can be easily moved within the port or outside the ports too.
Yes, this is part of the design to see that the port is efficient and also cargo will move very fast. Some of our ports, Lagos Port Complex and Port Harcourt, were designed with fully integrated rail system. We have a fully integrated that will come out at dockyard. Then we have a marshalling yard there. Once the cargo comes out there, NPA has a rail system to bring it there since the NPA and hand it over to NS Nigerian Railways to take it as far as they want. But as time goes on, the rail outside the port got so bad and completely not working. The one inside the port cannot work off, because if we cannot link, it can't work. So recently, with the reforms, presidential reforms in terms of rail, we are asked to repair the ones in the port, because the ones outside the port have also been awarded. We have completed the one in Apapa, and the one in Port Harcourt is ongoing. We are just still waiting for the NRC to finish up the end up till Apapa, so that we can link as usual and cargo will start moving out. And we have so many areas now already waiting for that, because it will serve even one of our off-dock terminals there, Lily Pond.
But do you know how soon the Nigerian Railway Corporation would fix up their own side of the rail system, so that we can get these cargoes moving?
No, the contract has been awarded in both ends, and I think it's a work in progress. I can't be able to give timeline.
How long? You can give the time.
It's NRC.
Or how long contract. Did it take you, the Nigerian ports, how long did it take you to fix your own rail?
Our own, I think it's about 8 months. Because it's within the port and it's not much.
So it's about, not much.
Yes, not much. It's just about 2 or 3 kilometers.
For the one outside, the one that the Nigerian Railway Corporation will fix, it's much longer.
Yeah, it's from Lagos up to Kano.
Okay, now let's talk about other issues. The fact that security at the ports, who is in charge of that?
Nigerian Port Authority.
Nigerian Port Authority.
Inside the port, yes.
Is there going to be, because I did hear that there's a concession into a private firm or something like that to ensure that, or to increase, tighten up security at the port? The concession was done by NIMASA, and it's not within the ports. It's not within,
for
it's
the
not,
pirates
it's not
on the highways. Yes, it's not within
it's not within your purview.
It's not within my channel.
Okay, let's take a quick break at this point.
Okay.
We'll come back to talk about more issues still centering on the Nigerian Port Authority. I've been talking to the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Umar Suleiman, and we have been looking at the ongoing reforms at the Nigerian Port Authority. We'll be back after this time out. Welcome back to Business Morning. We're still focusing on the Nigerian Ports Authority as we have Omar Suleiman here, the Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority. Now, let's look at the role the NPA played in the fuel subsidy report by the House earlier in the year. Now, there were allegations that the NPA did not provide sufficient documentation on the vessels that were bringing in some of the petroleum products. Now, what is your take on that?
Yeah, thank you very much. We were asked to submit information on the vessels that brought in petroleum cargo. We, in Nigerian Port Authority, we get all our information on the manifest. We have all the manifest that has the name of the vessel, the consignee or agent, the length, overall length of the vessel, and so we submitted. The issue in paper was that IMO number was not submitted. But later we were asked about that and were able to submit it. But usually on a manifest, it's not always carrying IMO number. And we are also called an issue of some of the people that imported and they are not on manifest. So we explained that we were able to go further to get the companies. What really happened was that if you are not an importer or an agent, you will not be on the manifest. It's like an issue of somebody imports a car and now sell the car to somebody. He will sell it with the documents of import, but the document import will not bear his name. Or if you do groupage, especially if you want to buy to economy of scale, 3 or 4 people can put money together to import anything and import petrol maybe in one vessel, all of them. All the names will not be in the manifest. It may be just the agent and one other person. It's between the companies to know how they will share. So usually for Nigerian Port Authority, sometimes only the agents will appear on the manifest. So if you ask for information on that company, it may not come up on the system immediately until maybe we now get the agent and ask him who imported it. So, but we're able to go further to that, provide this information. It's usually sometimes lack of really understanding of how Nigerian Port Authority works.
Who does what, or
who does what, and at what level you are supposed to do certain things. And that's what we're doing. But we're able to go down and get all the information, we submitted the information to them because it's of interest to us seriously that Nigerians get the clear record of what is happening in terms of petrol subsidy. But everything I've been asked now, we're able to give.
Okay, let's talk about, because with all the reforms that being done and all what the federal government wading into the situation, many Nigerians still believe that the Nigerian ports are still not efficient. There's the issue of diversion of cargoes to that other West African ports in other neighboring West African countries are more efficient, and we have here that cargoes are being diverted to that. What is the main reason behind that?
I agree that we still have challenges. It's work in progress. But the progress Nigerian Port Authority and the maritime sector in Nigeria have done for the last 4 or 5 years is very tremendous. Our ports now are very clean and efficient. I will not take away the other issues we are talking, like the road outside and other things. But believe me, most of the people that are not bringing their cargo into Nigeria is because of import ban lists. Most of those things are banned. So it's easier for them to take it to a neighboring country than smuggle into the country. Do you have proof of that? That when, because I know we control at least 70% of the trade in the West African waters. Yes. So for a company or group of individuals to decide to take their cargo through Cotonou or some other it's puzzling. So do you have proof that it's because these items or those items are actually contraband items and not because we're just so terrible at? Yeah, maybe me and you take a walk or take a ride to Cotonou and see the amount of furniture that's been coming in through that port. Okay, do you liaise with the Cotonou authorities? Yes. We have Port Association West Africa and Central Africa, in which Nigeria is the host. So we also discuss such issues on continuous basis. And one of the issues we are discussing seriously at that level is the security. Because, as I said, pirate does not know which country the cargo is going. They will just attack it. So the Port Association West Africa now are synergizing to see that, to relate to our mother countries and maybe prefer solutions that the whole coast will work together to see that the security situation improves seriously. Because one of the reasons of high cost of cargo into West Africa, it's not only Nigeria, is the security situation, which has become bad. Is it how safe
or you just said it's gone bad?
It's bad, yes, piracy. It's bad.
So what major efforts? I know you're, like you said, you're holding talks with the
NIMASA has done a very tremendous effort to do that, because that's why they have now signed a agreement with the company. They'll be able to pirate the channel. In fact, the Lagos channel now is much, much better than maybe Calabar channel. We still have a lot of use Calabar channel, but NIMASA is going to extend to those ones too.
Now, for you personally, I know you mentioned quite a number of challenges that NPA still has to deal with. I think we talked about security just now.
Yes.
What is the biggest challenge right now for the Nigerian Ports Authority?
One of the biggest challenges we have now is overcapacity of our ports that were designed to handle half of the cargo we're handling on them. Lagos especially is handling more than twice the cargo it was designed to handle. And that is why even the issue of traffic outside is multiplied. The two ports were designed to just handle about maybe 40 million, and we are now handling over 100 million tons of cargo. So, and all of them have to go out by road. Just hypothetically, if you can carry half of the trucks off the road, you see what will happen, because the capacity of the ports are overstretched seriously. So the only thing we need to do is that, and the ports are also designed not as deep as the ports of the world now. And because of economy of scale that's in all over the country, Nigeria has to serious haste, to develop a deep sea port that will carry all post-Panamax vessels of over 10,000 TEUs.
You're talking about competitiveness.
Yes, competitiveness. In fact, to remain in the business, in the maritime industry of the West Central Africa. Because if you cannot have a vessel that will sell from China direct to your port with over 10,000 cargo, will still be very expensive, and other parts of the country will take off the business, then they will be transshipping to Nigeria. So one of the efforts the Nigerian Port Authority of federal government is doing that, to see that we develop a new deep sea port. Fortunately, we have proposals that we are advanced working on in Ibaka, in Lekki Port, Badagry. All those ones are very, very serious issues that we are already working on, to see that at least one comes up immediately. As you say, over 70% of the cargo comes to West Africa, ends in Nigeria. And the reason is basic. The Cameroon is about 20 million. Togo is about maybe 4 or 5 million. Benin Republic is about 6 million. Ghana is about 19. Senegal is about also 16. If you add all, Liberia is maybe about 10 million. If you add all, it's still half the population of Nigeria. So we have the market. And consumers is what determines where cargo goes. So that's why we need to do that, to build a deep sea port so that we can have this big vessel here, so that the remaining trickle cargo will now be distributed to West and Central Africa.
Okay, is that, since obviously we're bursting at the seams right now, is that a short term, something we can do in the short term to develop?
Yes.
So that we can, ease all that pressure from
what Port Authority did in the short term is that, for a long time, our channel has been shallow with the wrecks, and also, shallow. In fact, they are just about 8 meters. To get that, one of the things we do now is to upgrade our current infrastructure to carry its maximum value. So we went into the wreck campaign. We were able to remove the wrecks in the Lagos channel, dredged it to 13.5 meters. It used to about 8. Previously, the vessels that called to the ports were only carrying 1,000 TEUs. Now we are having vessels coming in with about 5,000 TEUs, 4,500 to be specific, the West Africa maximum. So this is what Port Authority had did immediately. And Calabar channel, Warri channel, Boni channel is also dredged to about 12 meters, which used to be also about just 7 meters. This is what we are done interim to at least make the infrastructure we have now to operate at maximum capacity. All the key walls that are in a bad shape like Tinkan is rehabilitated. Just about, we are rehabilitating the key walls in Warri. The road infrastructure inside the ports all over has been awarded. Some have been completed. That's what Nigerian Ports do at the moment, to see that we are able to keep up the capacity before we are able to get the deep sea ports.
Okay, so what's the main vision? Looking down 5, 10, well, you probably may not be there, but 10, 15 years from now, what is the big picture for the Nigerian ports in terms of competitiveness? We know about the ports in Singapore and all the other developed, especially the Asian nations. Yes. What is a big grand plan for the Nigerian Port Authority?
That is why we have even the 25-year master plan that's just been approved by Mr. President last 2 weeks. The grand picture I want in Nigeria is that in 10 years' time, we should have at least 2 deep sea ports, that is one in the east, one in the west. We will also have the rails working from Port Harcourt up to Maiduguri and from Lagos up to Sokoto. We will also be able to capture the cargoes of the hinterland, including Southern Sudan, if you put out together. So that's the grand picture I want to leave for Nigeria, because we will have all those 15,000 TEUs vessels calling in our ports, just offload the cargo and go. Because once you create the infrastructure properly, vessels will come. So, and by doing that, the efficiency will increase, and the gains from the maritime sector will be geometric in terms of progression.
Now, in terms of moving towards that goal, our pace right now, well, how would you describe it? Are we still taking baby steps? Are we going at the pace that we ought to achieving?
For pace, we are going at it's good.
You are comfortable with the pace?
I'm comfortable
You're very
with the
optimistic.
Pace. Yes, I'm very optimistic. In 2 years, and in a year, we'll lay a foundation of one of the ports, and in 3 years, I think we should get a berth, deep sea berth, one already working in one of the ports.
Okay, well, all the best with that. Hopefully we would, of course, we're here, we will be reporting it, and hopefully we will see very positive results and better efficiency at the Nigerian ports. Thank you so much, Omar Suleiman, for being here. I have been talking to the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Port Authority, Mr. Omar Suleiman, and we have been looking at the ongoing reforms at the Nigerian ports, all that's being done to ensure that the ports are more effective and, of course, better efficient. We'll take another quick break now, and we'll be right back with the rest of the program. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Biz This Morning. Well, let's go over now to the morning market. We're starting off with the currencies arm of the market. Well, yesterday, the Naira hit a 2-month low against the US dollar on the surge in demand for the dollar. We also had that being on the back of foreign investors taking profit on their investments. The Naira closed down at 159 Naira to the US dollar. Yesterday also, the Central Bank of Nigeria had its second and last bi-weekly foreign exchange auction. The Apex Bank offered this time $200 million to help cushion the surge in demand for the dollar yesterday. It also sold it at the rate of 155 naira 70 kobo to the greenback. So far this week, let's take a look at what the central bank has sold this week. On Monday, it offered and sold $150 million at the rate of 155 naira 70 kobo to the dollar. On Wednesday, that was yesterday, the central bank was forced to increase that amount owing to the surge in demand for the greenback, this time offering and selling $200 million at the rate of 155 naira 70 kobo to the dollar. Now, meanwhile, dealers say that they expect the naira to fall further in the coming days unless the central bank intervenes quickly to calm the market. Let's also quickly go to our currencies board. Let's see the current exchange rates right now at the currencies market. Well, the naira at the official market still trading at 155 naira 70 kobo to the dollar. Against the British pound, the naira is trading 248 naira 24 kobo. Against the euro, over 198 naira. At the interbank market, 159 naira. At the Bureau de Change, 158 naira 70 kobo. At the parallel market, also known as the street market, the naira is trading at around 158 naira 50 kobo to the dollar. Well, that's about all we can take on today's edition of Business Morning. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Channels News Track is at the top of the hour. I'm Esther Obodaga. Bye for now.